Welcome to Unfrazzle, a podcast for solo business owners with a big vision who are ready for a kinder, more sustainable approach to productivity. I'm Louise Miller, and each week I share bite-sized insights to help you step away from the hustle, stop faffing and stay focused so you can make your brilliant ideas happen and make a bigger impact in the world. So grab yourself a cuppa and let's get started. I'd been looking forward to my first session with this fun and inspiring client for weeks. I was buzzing with energy, itching to get going, excited that I get to spend the next 90 minutes doing the thing that I love, helping her figure out her priorities for the month and create an action plan that's going to keep her on track. So we met in Zoom, notebooks and cuppas at the ready, and I asked her, "How are you feeling?" "Terrified," she replied. "I'm excited to get going, but terrified of you seeing the mess that I'm in." So tempting as it may have been, I don't tell her that there's nothing to be scared of, right? My clients' feelings of terror are valid. They are very welcome along for the journey because I know that this is how people feel when they ask for help. I know how much shame and embarrassment people can feel around their productivity, and I really do understand where that comes from, right? I felt it myself when I was drowning in a sea of scraps of paper and post-it notes and the never-ending barrage of emails that, accompanied my last job. But can I tell you the truth? The mess that you perceive yourself to be in is rarely as bad as you think. And I know that it feels like it from where you're sitting because you're bogged down in it. You're weighed down by it, feeling all the emotions of it. How can you possibly see things clearly when you're stuck so deeply in the weeds? And that's why it's so helpful to speak to someone with a bird's eye view, someone who can see where you are and has a clear view of where you're going. I consider it a privilege when a client joins me in the treehouse, when they allow me behind the curtain of their business, sharing their goals and sharing the truth of how things are right now. That takes vulnerability and it takes real courage. So I never kind of approach clients who are feeling like that with raised eyebrows or kind of judgment about how they've let that happen. Instead, I always approach it with excitement and a kind of how can we move things forward sort of mentality, because helping a client see what might be possible when we get crystal clear on their priorities is incredibly satisfying. And more importantly, it gets them motivated and ready to crack on. And by the end of that first session, my client who was terrified told me she was now feeling inspired and excited. And you don't get to experience any of that if you stay stuck in the terror and embarrassment and you don't ask for help. So I completely understand how uncomfortable and actually even painful it can be to face up to our reality and realise that we can no longer go it alone. But it's empowering too, right? Not to mention a relief. And that's been true of my experience. I've worked with coaches, I've joined masterminds because I have blind spots in my business that I simply can't navigate alone. And believe me, I've spent a lot of time trying. But the support, know-how and accountability of being in those spaces with those people around me has made a massive difference to me. So how about you? Have you ever been too scared or embarrassed to ask for help, even when you know deep down it would make all the difference? Perhaps you're even feeling that fear right now. So take a moment to imagine what might change for you when you accept that you don't have to be brilliant at everything and you don't have to go it alone. Could you feel the fear of asking for help and do it anyway? So what support do you most need right now? Is there something you're holding back from asking for help with? What's the next small step that you could take to get yourself that support? So as always, I hope that this helps and I look forward to seeing you again soon. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend who needs a dose of calm productivity in their life. And I'd love it if you could leave me a rating and a review, as that will help more people discover this podcast. If you'd like to hear more from me to help you stop faffing and take back control of your time, you'll find a link to join my mailing list in the show notes, and I would really love for you to join us. So thanks so much for your support, and I look forward to seeing you next time.